Bien, yo creo que ya estamos, vamos a seguir de todas maneras recibiendo a los participantes que se están uniendo a nuestra plataforma, pero mientras vamos a darle nuevamente la bienvenida a todos, agradecer de que nos acompañen esta mañana en este día especial para la Facultad de Medicina, Veterinaria y Agronomía y que como todos los años hacemos una actividad para reunirnos y conmemorar, ¿no es cierto?, en el marco justamente del Día Internacional de la Mujer esta fecha que se celebra el 8 de marzo, pero que como todos saben nos invita a reflexionar y a mantener presente a lo largo no solamente del 8 de marzo, sino que durante todo el año, la importancia que tiene el rol de la mujer en todos los ámbitos de la sociedad y por supuesto de manera especial una oportunidad para destacar el liderazgo de todas las mujeres y reconocer la contribución que las mujeres tienen en las ciencias en general, en la medicina veterinaria y también en la agronomía. Por supuesto, también en este día especial queremos aprovechar de conversar sobre algunos desafíos que vamos a tener que seguir enfrentando en la búsqueda de una mayor equidad. Como todos saben, hace algunos años en Chile, ya como en el año 2021, se creó una nueva ley que durante los últimos años nos ha invitado a implementar en la universidad, en todas las universidades en Chile, ciertas políticas, reglamentos, protocolos, ¿no es cierto?, normativas en general, que protegen a las mujeres contra el acoso sexual, la violencia y la discriminación de género. Por supuesto que en la universidad hemos seguido trabajando, avanzando en incorporar actividades curriculares con perspectiva de género y por supuesto estas actividades que son fundamentales, que consisten en visibilizar el rol, el gran rol importante que tienen las mujeres en las ciencias agropecuarias, ciencias veterinarias y también ambientales. Y es por ello que hoy tenemos el honor de contar con la presencia de la doctora Sara Savic, que nos va a acompañar y que tiene una trayectoria muy destacable. La doctora Sara Savic es médica veterinaria, investigadora principal del Instituto Científico Veterinario Visita, como ya dije, con una amplia trayectoria en investigación y un trabajo muy clave en el avance de la integración de la salud animal, humana y ambiental, ¿no es cierto?, el enfoque One Health. Así que muchas gracias, doctora, por acompañarnos el día de hoy en su charla titulada El rol de las mujeres en las ciencias, la medicina veterinaria y una salud. Así que muchas gracias, doctora, por acompañarnos. Les voy a dar a continuación el pase para comenzar su charla, darle la bienvenida, agradecerle, por supuesto, por su tiempo. Y vamos a tener al final algunos minutos, ¿no es cierto?, para compartir con la doctora Savic, dialogar un rato con respecto seguramente a preguntas que vayan saliendo de su presentación, pero desde ya los invitamos a todos a dejar en el chat sus preguntas para ir, ¿no es cierto?, rápidamente y considerándolas para poder hacer algunas intervenciones durante o posterior a la presentación. Así que, doctora, muchas gracias y bienvenida nuevamente.
Thank you. Thank you for such a kind, um, first of all, invitation and now the presentation of me. So I hope that you can hear me well. And I also hope that these beautiful little hearts will keep on coming. As you were talking, there were a lot of hearts coming on. So I hope I will get those too when I finish. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm very happy to be with you today. I have to say, buenos dias, señoras and señores. I hope that was right. There are a couple of words I know in Spanish. I can understand very little, and later I will tell you why I know a little bit of Spanish. But we should start in order to save time. I'm very grateful for being with you, but I'm also grateful for all the words that Lorena said, because I have no experience in what is going on in your universities, in your part of the world. And this is very, very overwhelming for me to hear, because not all the world at the moment is celebrating Women's Day anymore. Some countries think that that is over. They don't have to celebrate anymore because they have equal rights and they're happy with it. And some countries are just not allowed to. So from the one extreme to the other extreme, I like all the countries that still celebrate. So let's try this. I'm technically totally stupid. So let's try not to mess up this. We already tried and I did good. Okay. Thank
Se ve
you.
perfecto, doctora.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to talk today about women in science in veterinary medicine and One Health. As I understood, most of you are students and some of you are staff, so you're all involved in education in some way. And as I understood, you will be able to put your questions in the chat so that during my presentation we can see if you have any questions. You can also stop me at any time and we can discuss. But I would like at the end to really have a discussion, not only give a talk and then we just go separate ways. I would really like to interact if that is possible and if this topic is interesting to you. Okay, so who am I? Is the slide going well? Is this the second slide now? Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, good. So who am I and where do I come from? My education, my essential vocation was veterinary medicine. I graduated at University of Belgrade, which is also in Serbia, where I come from. And Serbia is the country on the globe with a yellow dot. Probably some of you have never heard of us, but if you are a tennis admirer, then the best tennis player ever in the world, it comes from Serbia. So if you have heard about Novak Djokovic, then you know about Serbia. But anyway, we have also many good sportsmen, and probably you have heard of our country because of that. Also, we have our country is political has been unstable over the years, and we are in the middle of the Balkans area, which is similar to South America, I would say, because we have a lot of stuff going on all the time. And we are kind of like the part of Europe that is not as developed, not as advanced as the rest of the Europe. And our region is called the Balkans. So by affiliation, I come from Scientific Veterinary Medicine of Novi Sad, also from Serbia. As you have already heard, I lead a department for immunology, serology, and biochemistry, which is actually a laboratory that deals with infectious diseases of animals, including zoonotic and vector-borne diseases. Yes, I like those hearts. Keep them coming. I like them very much. And we also, within our lab, we also have a national reference lab for Q fever, leptospirosis, and medivisna or crepin arthritis and encephalitis. That means that we are a national lab involved in the top governmental diagnostic of these diseases. We are very far away, but thank God for these online webinars and that we can collaborate in this way, because I'm very happy to being able to be here with you today and to learn from you and take your experiences, because they are very valuable to my knowledge of women in either One Health, veterinary medicine, science, university education, whatever. Okay, and who am I personally? I'm a mom, and that is part of me that I like the most. But I am a veterinarian and a researcher. That's the part of me that brings food to my table. And I like my job very much. I'm a lab rat, but I also work within the One Health organizations. I will tell you more about that later, but I lead a One Health organization within Serbia. We have a association of One Health in Serbia. So we exist for 5 years now. I'm very proud of that. And we organize a One Health Day every year. Then I'm part of 2 women organizations. Well, 3 actually. There is a Serbian one, but I will present you the international ones. And I'm a wife. And besides being a woman, I'm also a Zumba instructor. And that's where my Spanish comes from, because most of Zumba songs are in Spanish. So I know bailando, caliente, stuff like that from the songs. But anyway, don't ask me in Spanish, please. What are we going to talk about today? It's about women or gender. I will tell you why this goes together. Science, basing on veterinary science and One Health, because that is our main goal of interest. when we talk about women, today it's called gender because when we want to involve women into something, we say gender inclusion because we like to include both genders. In some instances, there is more involvement of women than of men, but those are very small number of activities. Most of them are men dominated. So that's why we say gender and social inclusion. That means that in any activity, we would like to include all genders, not only male and female, but also the others, and all social, probably discriminated categories, such as people with disabilities or young people or some other indigenous people, and so on. So that's why we say gender and social inclusion. Now, sex is something that is given by birth and it is determined by biological organs. But gender is something hidden behind this photo. I don't know why I did it wrong on the slide. But gender is something that is related to your social roles. It is something that is given to you by your environment, that is given to you by your culture, and that is considered as part of your gender. That's why we think that women are better in making themselves beautiful, in makeup, in love, in staying at home, in taking care of a garden, and in art. And also, men are better with tools, with big muscles, with money, with having a brain, making decisions, and leading you through your life if you're a woman. So that's why we would like to make this more equal. I personally, and I guess most of you, do not agree with this pink and blue division. In some instances, yes, our brain is more complicated. We can do multiple tasking, we can do many stuff, but not in this kind of division. So if you can imagine the yellow photo on the bottom, if you can imagine it in your country, then good. I still can't. I mean, my son is 20 years old and I have been here a long time ago, but I think things have changed just a tiny bit, not as much in this picture, but in some countries, yes, it has. In some countries like Norway, the Scandinavian countries, these kind of engagements in family work, in kids' activities, is really divided equally, and that's why we need more activities in other parts of the world, such as your and mine, where women empowerment has not been empowered enough. So that's where the word woman empowerment comes from. We need to empower the women to reach out for their, I don't like to say rights, I like to say for their equality, because we have been given political rights at some part of our history and we can vote, but that's not enough. I would like to say we have to be empowered to make the decisions, to be the leaders. And what the deans has said at the beginning, the leadership is something that we miss. So equality or equity, there is a difference. I hope that you can see from this picture what the difference is, but it's not enough to give everybody the same basic line. You know, to give everybody, you all start from this line. That's not enough. You have to make the line equal for everybody. That's the second picture. It's not enough if you only say, okay, you can all do this and this and this, and let's see who gets it better. But you have to make the beginning same. You give a chance, give an equal chance to everybody. Women and men and other genders will never be exactly the same. Why? Because men cannot have children. They cannot be pregnant. So if they can't be pregnant, then we cannot also do some other things. But I mean, that's a biological part of our gender, but that's something that you can also always put in front of not being equal. We do not want to be the same, but we want to be equal. So this is where this equality and equity come from, and we should stream to the situation that everybody has equal chance to be at the same level. That means, if you want an example, that means building ramps for disabled people. So you tell, why don't you go to the university, and you have 20 floors in your university and no ramps for disabled people. So they cannot go to your university as a baseline. That's what it means to make the chance for everybody. Now let's go to some history as we want to talk about science. I think when you say women in science, at least I do, we all think of Maria Curie as the most famous women in science from the history. And there are probably many others, but some of them are known in some part of the world and the others in the other part of the world. But I don't think all of them are acknowledged as much as they should be. For instance, Agnes Soyberg, she is a Finnish veterinarian, and she graduated as a veterinarian. It was the first woman in Europe, and likely the first woman in the world to obtain a PhD. She was part a scientist, part a veterinary practice veterinarian, and I have never heard of her before digging into Google. So I'm sure that probably 80% of you has also never heard of her. And I'm also sure that 90% of European veterinarians have never heard of her. So that's what I mean. The whole history was closed for women, either in science or in veterinary medicine. And it's opening now. It has been opening through the past few years, because if you Google the first man in veterinary medicine, you get around the start of Bronze Age, 3,000 years BCE, a man named with a name that I cannot even pronounce, Ergeledina, who lived in Mesopotamia region and was known for an expert in healing animals. So he is named the father of veterinary medicine. What if he had a wife who actually did the job along him, but she will never be known of? So in the past, there were less women scientists because they were less recognized and they were less acknowledged. We know of many examples that behind some revolutionary discoveries of men, there were actually women. We have our national story of Einstein's wife. She was Serbian by her origin. And there is a story that actually she was behind his relativity equality, and that actually she helped in his work. But unfortunately, that was not acknowledged at that time. And I'm sure in your region, there are many, many women like that. Also, so sorry, I did not turn off my phone. So sorry. More historic data that I looked for, there in the US, there was Mignon Nicholson. So she was the first woman in 1903 from veterinary college. And then I looked for South America, and then for South American first veterinarians, and then Maria Josefa Rodriguez came out. But they said it was the first Spanish woman. So I'm not sure if she is familiar to you, but she obtained a degree in 1925, which is also a very good success for that age. Now let's go back today, as I know that you are all more interested in today than in the past. What was in the past stays in the past. We will never know a lot of things, but let's start to make today a better history for tomorrow and do something that women in the future have a great background of their predecessors of now. At most European faculties in veterinary medicine, ratio of students is 80 to 20 for females. Now, I'm pretty old, and I went to the faculty more than 30 years ago. When I was in the faculty, this ratio was 20/80 for males. And this has changed over the last 30 years. I guess it has been so globally for most of the world. Not sure. You can tell me in the chat what is going on in your region, but I can see, I can see Lorena nodding. So I guess that is also happening with you. There is a trend of having inclusive project teams meaning including women, because of demands of the funders. So today's funders of science have an obligative part of the project that they have to include women. Now, that is easy in the countries where you have female researchers, but that is not so easy in the countries where you do not have enough, or you do not have enough in the level of research, female researchers. So they would like the project teams and project activities to be divided 50-50. In European projects, there is even a favorization of females being leaders of the either projects or project activities, working packages, and so on. So that is a point where the increase of female researchers begin. This has been going on for last, let's say, 10 years. And it has made a significant shift in science. But eventually, the feminization of some sciences happened. What does that mean? That means that women overtook some disciplines, starting with biology, chemistry, also medicine, education, social sciences in global. So what happens then? When a shift happens, and then when females overtake a discipline, then a drop of interest becomes in that discipline, and drop of money becomes in that discipline. If you understand what I'm saying, biologists become less paid, medical doctors become less paid, and the demand for those disciplines becomes less. That's why tech industries and energy industries are heavily fighting against this. So in IT industry and in energy, energy of oil, gasoline, stuff like that, there is still men dominating, and also IT industry is still men dominating. And their wages are like 10 times our wages. You know what a programmer costs, much more than a vet. And also people dealing with digging of oil and gasoline and so on. They're also wealthy people. So that's what happens in feminization of disciplines. And that is something that we also need to fight against. And if we take leadership everywhere, then this will go away. If we take leadership of the world, this will also go away. But anyway, so this is not visible. This is not something that will catch our eye in a minute. This is something that goes on for a long time. This does not happen over a day. And you need to keep an eye on this when it happens. Also, when you look into a health carers who takes care of your health, and you come to nurses, you will see that 99% of nurses are females, and 99% of them are in contact with either infectious diseases or some kind of challenges when doing their job. But the leadership of medical organization is usually led by men. That is also still happening in Serbia with veterinary medicine. So our minister, our directors of the institute, so the leadership from top leadership down is mostly led by men, and very few women are engaged. You will tell me how it is in your country later. So we come to One Health. And what is One Health? One Health is a mix of science and activities and practice between different disciplines, between society and sectors, between environment, between urban and non-urban regions, and between all the disciplines that can help into creating a health for all. This means that One Health is an integrated, unifying approach that aims to sustainability, balance, and optimize the health of people, animals, and ecosystems. Each recognizes the health of humans, domestic and wild animals, plants, and wider environment, including ecosystems, and closely linked to interdependent. Now, I have to always read this definition because it's really highly with the complicated words, made with complicated words. But this is actually something that we want to do to make the ecosystem and environment healthy so that all of us within those ecosystems remain healthy. That means if you disrupt an ecosystem, if you take down the whole forest because you want to make money, you will take down the birds, the small animals, the whoever was having a life there. When you take them, you also take the predators that were feeding on them. When you take them, you also take the other predators that were feeding on them. And the butterfly effect is enormous. So by keeping the ecosystem, you keep the health. Also, human doing to repair the ecosystem can equally be wrong because you favor as one thing, and I will tell you an example. You favor as something, totally forgetting that that will have an impact on other thing. For example, anti-rabies activities. They were very good in dog vaccination and in giving baits with vaccine to wild animals. In my country, mostly foxes. So foxes were getting the vaccine. They were not getting rabies. They were healthy. They overpopulated. There were so many foxes. They moved towards the urban cities. So from the wildness, they moved to the cities. They became urban foxes. They now live near the garbage cans. They go near the buildings. So I'm not talking about villages near the woods. I'm talking about their cities. And people feed them. And people go to near the garbage can and they say, Leo, Leo, come. Leo is a name for fox in my language. And they say, Leo, Leo, come. And they come. And they come and they feed. So they carry a lot of other stuff with them. They interact with dogs and cats. They spread their microbiome into the cities that are not used to them. And as you being a medical workers, you can imagine what kind of impact that can have if we have a larger movement of this. So urban foxes is something that can be seen all over Europe now. Another example is that we did not like mosquitoes even before West Nile. We thought they're not needed. And there were a lot of things going on against mosquitoes, and you can never extinct them. That is clear. But before we had small birds, I can now not remember their name in English, small birds that eat on mosquitoes. Sparrows. Yeah, sparrows. Sparrows eat mosquitoes, and we had a lot of them. And they were building their nests on top of the buildings near the windows in the building. And we took them down because they would, forgive my language, but they would shit on your window of your apartment. And that's why we took those nests down until we took down all the nests and all the sparrows went away. There were no sparrows in our city for a long time. And you can only imagine what that did to our mosquito population. It was so overpopulated. So those are some very easy things that we humans do in order to correct our environment, and we do totally different. So very good international agencies such as WHO, International Health Organization, World Animal Health Organization, World Agriculture Organization, and World Environmental Organization created a One Health high-level expert panel, which is now an ongoing organization involved in they created this definition, and they're also creating our One Health initiatives all over the world. Now, One Health policies were also changed after all this One Health movement, and international agencies are now streaming to having gender involved into their policies. There are policies that, or let's say there were policies that were gender blind. There are, of course, still these kind of policies, but let's hope that they're almost extinct. Now, these are policies or programs which are designed without, I'm not going to read all of these issues, but without any male or female input into dynamics between within the policy. So it's a total ignore of gender differences. Now, there is a gender-sensitive policy that which examine and address the set of issues. So they look into some of them, and there is some relation to gender. But we all stream to gender transformative policies, which are policies that make a difference. Now, these are policies and programs that seek to transform gender relations. They want to encourage critical examination and inequalities and gender roles. They want to recognize and strengthen the positive norms and support equality, enabling the environment, and they want to promote the relative position of women, girls, and marginalized group, which would be gender and social inclusion, as I already told you, and transform underlying social structures, policies, and broader health social norms. So these kind of policies are the ones that will make a difference, and this is what we need. I wanted to tell you about the associations that I'm part of. Now, there is a Women for One Health organization. It is an international organization having really women from all over the world. I don't know if anybody is part of this association network, actually, from your country. But anyway, it's a network and strategy. And a Women from for One Health network is an intercontinental community. We have monthly meetings, we have different kind of webinars, activities, we create publications. Everybody is welcome, everybody who wants to contribute or either be part just to learn, that is also possible. So if you are interested, you can, there is a website on the side, and or you can just Google it, it will come out. You can see the logo on the slide, and you can read about it, about the vision, mission, all the activities that we had. The origin of this network is very interesting. It became in 2022 when there was a World Health Congress in Singapore held. After that Congress, a really handful of women looked into the program. So the whole scientific board, committee, everything related to this Congress was, and all the presenters were only men. In 2022, can you imagine? So that's where all the red lights came into their head, and they say, hey, this doesn't make sense. And they wrote a letter to the organization before the next Congress, which was last year. And they said that this is not fair and women should be involved. And so there was a whole very polite letter that Women for One Health sent to the organizer. And they, of course, embraced it and agreed that women should be involved. So this last year in 2024, for the last World Health Congress, it happens every 2 years, there was really many women involved. They had workshops. They had even a gender session. So it was excellent activity and very visible. What is really important, it was visible in all the world. Now, within Network for EcoHealth and One Health, which I'm also part of, we deal with One Health activities in different ways. We were also present with our poster at the World Health One Health Congress last year, which is a picture on the right with our guys that were presenters there. We have other publications that were, some are going on, but most of them are already published. But there is something that I want to tell you that is going on in a few days, in 10 days. There is a EcoHealth Global Summit. It's an online event. It's free of charge. It's meant for young people. So you can hopefully join, click, register, look into the program and find yourself there, because it's really worldwide, and you will be happy because it goes on for 24 hours. You don't have to stay awake the whole night. You can join when your daytime is normal. This was firstly initiated. This is the third one, so there were two previous, and it's really a good initiative of young people from One Health. I don't want to tell you more because you will read from it, but please go find them, and you will find it interesting for sure. Now, within our network, we have a gender working group, which is a group. Some of us are from the network of One Health and Eco Health, and others are not. We are an international group also. I forgot to say that Network for Eco Health and One Health is also international group. You can also contact us. I will go back to that slide, and you can see the link. It's not only European, it is also worldwide. We also accept people. And also on this website, you can find the link to join. So you can express your interest, somebody will contact you, and blah, blah, blah. For the moment, we're not charging the fee, but probably there will be in the next future, there will be some fee. But there is always, for young people, for our youth interested in One Health, there is always a better deal than for the practitioners. So don't worry. Back to the gender working group, we also deal with awareness and education. So we also held some like this today. So I'm involved with bringing awareness here today. And we also organize some webinars. There will be some also on YouTube. What is it called? Videos on YouTube. But for now, we don't have them yet. We're also working on capacity building, research, evaluation, and advocating. We can do evaluation of some research work if you would like us to evaluate if you had done the gender part of your research enough, or if you can do more, or if you would like to, we can consult you and so on. But you can also contact us through the website. We have published a book. I will show you at the end. But Network for Eco Health and One Health has come out with a textbook that is meant both for students or for experts that are expert in some, like vets or medicals or environmentalists, biologists, whatever, but are new to One Health. So it is meant for basic interests of One Health, but it can be either for students or already experts. We promote gender equality is an objective and gender equity is a process to get there. And in our chapter, we have dealt with some stuff that is important to have a gender-sensitive approach when applying One Health. And One Health approach should promote equality and inclusion at all levels. As you know, there are sustainability goals that need to be achieved within the One Health also. And one of them is gender equality. So there is no One Health without gender equality. And it is one of the mainstreams of One Health. So gender equality needs to be recognized as basic human right. Gender equality and gender social inclusion is one of the Sustainable Development Goals, as I said already. And different gender roles and responsibilities in health, food, water, and energy management and use of natural resources contribute to different impact on the environment and different exposure to risk. We have done a few case studies just to present what gender dimension means in a case study. So we wrote, of course, about COVID because that was when we started the book. That was of the main interest. Also, antimicrobial resistance, brucellosis, which was my field, and sorry, but misspelled in this slide. Then climate change, and then endocrine disruptor chemicals. So these are case studies of research which are shown within the gender dimension of those case studies. This chapter is online. You can see the website address on the top, but at the moment it is not free. So we had made a deal with the publisher that it will not be free of charge for the first 6 months, so that the publisher has to earn something at least. But then after that time, it will be free. You will be able to download for free. And I would really recommend to read this chapter because it's like a little crown of our work for the last few years. I think I have talked probably too much. Yes, so sorry. I will finish soon. This is the book. This is the name of the book and what it looks like. You can look for it. You can see at the moment, you can see some stuff in PDF format. You can read some stuff. You cannot read the whole chapter, but you can see the introductory chapter and something so that you can decide if it's interesting to you or not. We are very proud of it, and I hope that it will be useful for your university to use it. At least some of the chapters, you don't have to have the whole book. So, science without woman is not science. Why? Because we have a different perspective, and I will tell you a joke, which is, I think, a good example. You say to a man, can you see if there are bananas in the shop and buy some milk, please? So a man comes back and he just brings a milk and says, yes, they have bananas. So who did not understand this? Please raise a hand. Okay. And of course, One Health is without gender lens is not One Health. Thank you. I hope this was interesting to you. Thank you.
Muchísimas
Muchas
gracias,
gracias.
doctora. Mire, ahí le envían un montón de corazones y reacciones y hay algunas preguntas en el chat. Vamos a comenzar. Sí, ve, muchos corazones.
Thank
Doctora,
you.
vamos a comenzar con la primera pregunta. Y dice, un segundo, que están aumentando los chats. Un segundo. Un segundo, doctora, que se mueve el... Ya, comenzamos con la primera pregunta. ¿Qué consejo le daría a las estudiantes y jóvenes investigadoras que desean desarrollarse en el campo de la medicina veterinaria y las ciencias?
Be strong. I hope it's easier at the moment because there are more women that can lead you. The easiest way is if you have a senior woman to lead you because she will give you space, she will give you opportunity. But if not, you have to be really well educated. But what is also easy is that you find a discipline. Like if you work in a team and they're all men and you want to stand out, you find a research topic that nobody's dealing with and it is of your interest. That is one way. I have found vector-borne diseases that nobody was working with. I started with small animal diseases like pets, dogs and cats. And there are like trillion of people working in that. But then I discovered vector-borne diseases, ticks, mosquitoes, sandflies, and diseases like that. Those are also zoonotic diseases, which are of my interest pretty much. And so I found my place and I went straight there because there was nobody dealing with that at my institute. So if you can find, and there are veterinary medicine today is so wide. So please don't only think about cows, rabbits, and dogs that you can treat. You can deal with a lot of stuff, especially with One Health. You can find a One Health, you can implement One Health approach into a lot of different stuff, not only zoonotic diseases. So also in food or water, environmental stuff are also, environmental problems are also ticks or leptospira in water. So you connect environment as water and you connect your knowledge as a vet in leptospirosis. So if you have any other ideas, you can be free to tell me. But the veterinary medicine is really wide. If you also have in mind bees, honey, beauty products that are made out of either animal or animal product or something like that. So there are many things that you don't even think of. and that you can use your veterinary knowledge in. I hope this answers.
Muchas gracias, Sara. Hay otra consulta.
Karen, mientras que ven las otras consultas, a lo mejor también
Diga.
complementar ahí con los comentarios de Sara que me parecen súper interesantes. También a lo mejor decirle a las jóvenes investigadoras que están recién partiendo y que tienen interés en que aprovechen las oportunidades con todos los beneficios, becas que están apareciendo, no solamente a nivel nacional, sino que también a nivel internacional para seguir sus estudios, profundizar y aprovechar, porque hoy en día está todo este boom, ¿no es cierto?, emergente de colocar a la mujer de manera más visible, posicionarla y destacarla en su rol en la ciencia. Entonces hay más oportunidades de becas. Entonces aprovechar esas becas que no son para los hombres, sino que son para las mujeres y que de repente porque las mujeres no postulan se pierden. Entonces, estar muy atentas también a esas posibles oportunidades. Y lo otro también es aprovechar estas instancias de atreverse más. Existen tantos estereotipos con respecto a que las mujeres solamente podemos trabajar en algunas áreas de la medicina veterinaria, sobre todo el área de pequeños animales. Pero hay otras áreas donde también las mujeres, si nos atrevemos, podemos encontrar un nicho, podemos encontrar una tremenda oportunidad de desarrollo, tal cual como decía Sara, buscar esos lugares donde la mujer se puede posicionar y destacar. Entonces, atreverse también yo creo que es importante hoy en día. Eh, Eso quería complementar ahí la respuesta de Sara.
Gracias,
Karen,
Lorena.
más preguntas.
Sí, hay otra consulta. Luis Guerrero le pregunta a ambas. Dice, hola, me gustaría hacer una pregunta a la doctora Savic y también a la decana. ¿De qué forma el trabajo de las comunidades científicas de One Health pueden constituirse en un modelo a seguir para las estudiantes del área veterinaria y convertirse en líderes en su ejercicio profesional?
Sara, ahí está la
Yeah, well,
experta.
yeah, well, you can say it from your local perspective. I just wanted to say fantastic point what you just said previously for the previous question, and yeah, use every opportunity that you can, and don't be afraid. Even what the worst thing that can happen to you is that you get an email and say you're not elected. So that's the worst thing that can happen if you apply to something and nothing else. If they elect you, then only the beautiful things will happen. Okay, so well, One Health opportunities. Sometimes it's upon you to tell what One Health opportunity is, because the leadership and the governmental institutions will probably, I'm not sure on what level are your governmental institution regarding One Health. So for instance, in my country, we don't have ministry for One Health. We don't even have One Health as a subject at faculties. We have just got a course this year on one veterinary faculty that is called One Health. So we don't have One Health education at all in my country. So depending on how developed it is in your country, it depends. But if it's not developed, sometimes it's upon you to tell them, I can do a One Health research, or I have an idea for One Health initiative, or I would like to organize a One Health conference, webinar, seminar, whatever, either educational or research, scientific, whatever. So sometimes it's upon you to show them the initiative, and then they will for surely agree, or they would say, we can do this under these and these conditions, but there is no reason that they would reject it, because everybody sees the benefit of One Health initiatives, especially if you connect governments, or you connect different disciplines, or you connect universities. The easiest way is through university, because university would most often help you, because university would be promoted by your initiative. So if this is of any help, I am sure that Dean would add something that is probably locally more significant, but this is something that you can do.
Gracias, Sara.
Lorena.
Bueno, complementando la respuesta de Sara, efectivamente nosotros acá en Chile ya hace varios años estamos impulsando el enfoque, la estrategia, ¿no es cierto?, de One Health, y de hecho en nuestra universidad tenemos un magíster y lo estamos incorporando también dentro de las asignaturas, dentro de las mallas curriculares, de manera más transversal, así que sin duda es un tema de gran desarrollo para nosotros. Yo creo que una de las cosas en las que podemos trabajar las mujeres justamente en la academia es fortalecer las áreas que son fundamentales dentro del enfoque One Health. O sea, si nos especializamos más, por ejemplo, en temas de zoonosis, resistencia antimicrobiana, en temáticas que son de relevancia para el país, sin duda tenemos ahí un rol importante en que aportar. Pero yo creo que también, y yo creo que pasa en todas las disciplinas, es tratar de participar no solamente promoviendo, sino que también liderando. Yo creo que también ahí vuelvo un poco al atreverse a postular a cargos directivos, a cargos, ¿no es cierto?, donde podamos dejar un impacto desde el rol como mujer y de manera interdisciplinaria. Yo creo que hay que atreverse también a ocupar esos cargos, esos roles que son más jerárquicos, más directivos. Yo creo que es importante también hacerlo. De hecho, bueno, acá en Chile, en nuestras propias facultades de medicina veterinaria y agronomía, que también se da mucho esta diferencia importante de cargos directivos ocupados por mujeres, creo que habemos pocas mujeres. Se ha ido avanzando, y un ejemplo de ello es que hoy en día ya tenemos más facultades lideradas por mujeres, pero todavía nos queda mucho trabajo por hacer ahí, ocupar estos cargos, digamos, de gran relevancia o mayor impacto. Y bueno, y también lo que decía Sara de estas asociaciones científicas, por ejemplo, la asociación de One Health, ¿no es cierto?, que se formó hace poco a propósito de este congreso donde solamente participaban hombres. Yo creo que es importante también participar, unirse a estas asociaciones que representan y visibilizan de mejor manera a las mujeres.
Muchas, muchas gracias, Lorena y Sara. Nos quedan dos preguntas. Paciencia la doctora Sara si tiene algunos minutitos, nos queda muy poco. Francisca Di Pilo, académica de la facultad, le consulta a usted, colega suya. ¿Le ha tocado participar en investigaciones en las que se haya considerado la equidad de género como una variable de estudio?
Okay, how to put this and to answer correctly. Okay, so in the European projects that are now going on, as I said, there is an obligation to have a balance within the activities and teams, but that's not what you were asking. So most of the research reports, when they have a question on gender inclusion, they report on that. We have that and that many women in our team. We have organized a workshop in which we present 35 women and 25 men. We have working package leaders that are 3 women and 3 men, and so on. So those are the kind of reports that most of the projects develop. What you're asking about, if a scientific project was I participating in a scientific project that did an actual impact on gender inclusion or gender promotion or whatever? So far, no, in the way that you're asking, because it is still not on the level that is obligative. So only if you have a project that in its goals, in its main deliverables, has something with gender promotion or gender inclusion, then the answer to your question is no. So only the projects that have that kind of either empowerment or establishing of some association or something including gender, or establishing something governmental, a governmental body or something that has to do with gender inclusion. Only those kind of projects can really have an impact. The other projects, not yet. But we're getting there because we're trying to input every time that it is needed. So I'm not sure if you expected this kind of answer, but I'm just being really honest with you. And I still think that a lot of, even though the European funders ask for this, there is still not enough evaluation about this. And there are still not yet, let's say, bad points to a project because none of this has been done, because it's still not a real requirement. They will not turn down the project because it didn't have a gender impact. Okay?
Gracias, Sara. Hay un último comentario en el chat. Aura Villamil escribe lo siguiente. En Chile cada vez es más frecuente la participación de mujeres, tanto en la investigación relacionada a una salud como a nivel gubernamental. Un segundo que entró otro chat y se me... De hecho, en Chile, una salud está enmarcado dentro del Plan Nacional contra la Resistencia Antimicrobiana, liderado por la doctora Tania Herrera, desde el Ministerio de Salud. Hay gran participación de mujeres en torno al diseño de este plan, indica Aura, como comentario solamente.
Okay. So you have a woman leading antimicrobial resistance within the government. Did I understand this right? And therefore, because of her presence, there are more women involved in the whole initiative. If that is right, then that is, yeah, that's fantastic. And that is also an opportunity, because I'm sure that kind of environment would embrace young women coming. I mean, young people are always welcome in the projects. That's what Jordine was talking about. We have, like, there is a condition to have young people. Then also, if you're a PhD student, then you're very welcome. You can even be funded. And you just need your either mentor or professor or somebody to tell you, you know, this project is going on and we're looking for a young PhD student. What we do within our associations, because we don't have the funding, we do all of this voluntarily, but we do publications which are good in your resume, especially international ones. And we always look for something, for someone that would like to put the publication together. We never have the time to work with the, you know, how you have to put it in the portal. You have to answer the questions of the publisher and blah, blah, blah. It takes your time forever. And we never have time for that. So we always look for eager young people that would like to do that. And in that way, you can come into a publication without much of expertise, except for willing to put the text together and to have exchange emails and organize stuff and so on. It is time consuming, but you don't have to have much expertise in something in order to enter publication. And this is an international publication. It will be in your resume. It hires up your level and so on. That is also one of the ways. And please, I don't know if this was the last question, but if yes, I would just like to invite you one more time. So enter the either network or go for the One Health, EcoHealth webinar. Be friendly, get to know people, come into our either One Health or gender communities, and you will be welcomed, I'm sure.
Muchas gracias, Sara. Vamos a dejar justamente todas esas indicaciones e información que compartiste en nuestras redes sociales y, por supuesto, ahí en los canales de comunicación internos que tenemos. Para los que tengan interés puedan acceder, ¿no es cierto?, a los links que compartiste y puedan entrar y puedan seguir y puedan justamente ampliar las redes de contacto y de apoyo que claramente tiene como objetivo también esta charla y estas actividades. Así que, Sara, muchas gracias. Ahí están desplegando muchos corazones y aplausos para ya ir cerrando, despedirte, agradecer nuevamente desde la distancia, muy, muy lejos desde donde estamos aquí en Chile, pero nuevamente agradecer y, bueno, y felicitar por todo el trabajo que Sara está realizando como científica, como mujer, ¿no es cierto?, en el laboratorio y como médico veterinario, por supuesto. Muchas gracias, Sara.
Thank you so much. You have been a fantastic audience, and thank you for all the hearts. I'm so happy. I will be your guest anytime. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Sara. Nos vemos. Gracias a todos
Muchas gracias
por acompañarnos. Nos vemos en la inauguración del año académico prontamente. Chao, chao.